What's going on, and welcome into your casual gaming news conversation for this week. I'm Nick, that's Connor, and this is your weekly gaming news podcast from Ep.16. Connor, how are we feeling today?
Doing good. Same old, not a lot going on, just playing a lot of games. As usual, going to play Split Fiction tonight with Laura, try to finish it this weekend in preparation for the spoiler cast that we're shooting for Patreon. But other than that, yeah, just working at work and playing games in my free time, and that's about it. Playing that Resident Evil on Wednesdays. This game might be an all-timer.
Yeah.
This might be, like, I don't want to say my favorite Resident Evil, because RE4 is, like, really good.
RE4 is your, like, fourth or fifth best game ever.
I think I like it more than RE2 Remake.
Yeah.
And RE4 Remake.
Okay.
So that's kind of the ballpark we're in. The
difference between RE4 and RE4 Remake for you genuinely baffles me but I haven't played RE4 Original yet. Do you think that when I play RE4 Original, which will happen eventually, that I'm going to like RE4 Original more?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. So
I like the gameplay, though. That's the difference is the gameplay. And I do like how like campy and stupid the original version of it is. I appreciate just like how weird that is. But otherwise, like it's really just about the gameplay for me, that I like planting my feet, lining up a shot. It's stressful. It's unique for me, at least. Like now that I've played RE5, it's less unique, but I had never played a game like that I was like, oh, this is really weird, because I never played. I don't know how RE1 Remake, which I assume controls at least somewhat similarly to the original version of it, is like you hold L1 to pull your gun up and shoot, but there's no like laser sight, so you're not like lining up a shot or anything. You're kind of just like hoping that you're kind of in line with the enemy. But I don't know how RE2 or 3 works when it comes to that functionality. I assume it works more like RE1 than RE4. So, but yeah, I do not think that you will like it as much, just because I don't think you like how older games feel oftentimes. And I do think that RE4 feels weird because it is older, but I like it personally. So
that's fair. Right now I'm grinding some games. Well, what am I even playing on the Tuesday, Thursday? Oh yeah, this little game called Halo 2. Mm-hmm. Well, it's just one of those. It's like an ice cream sundae, Connor. It's just nice to have in your life. It's a sweet treat that I get twice a week. I did have the question though. Sonic 06, going from that to now an all-timer, how nice of a jump is that?
Oh, it's so nice.
Well, like now you're actually looking forward to the Wednesday streams.
Yeah, well, I'm always looking forward to it because it's fun to just stream and talk to people and hang out. But yeah, the playing RE1 these last few weeks has been a blast. And the difference in control and the difference of just like ease of use, even though like RE1 is pretty confusing and like it's a puzzle game, it's like at least I'm not like wanting to pull my hair out the entire stream when it comes to the game that I'm playing. I almost crashed out in the last Sonic 06 stream. It was almost bad.
Oh, almost crashed out?
I'm saying it could have been worse.
Let's just hop straight into housekeeping and talk a little bit of Twitch. Everyone, this is a fun one. This is the first podcast that we get to say that I'm full-time on. And so the big one when it comes to the Twitch streams is April 21st, Monday. 9 a.m. Eastern, I will begin my Persona 5 journey. That will be a marathon stream to end all marathon streams. We'll be starting up at 9 a.m. on that Monday. We'll be going till Friday at about 1 o'clock. And then I will cool it for the whole weekend. That allows us to shoot things like Recollection Retro and the podcast we need to shoot and just stay on schedule with everything there. And then Monday at 9 a.m. once again, that is April 28th. I'll be booting back up and finishing out the game however long it takes after that. Most likely, I think that I've done the math out, it's probably going to finish, I'd assume, on that Friday. If we finish a little bit earlier, great. We're just doing a marathon stream for me to beat all of Persona 5 Royal as a way to say thank you for making that happen, and also as a way to just do something really cool and awesome when it comes to streaming.
What are the odds you end up streaming it on Saturday? It goes too long.
Oh, dude,
how torturous would that be?
Well, the worst part is we have to shoot this show on that Friday.
Oh, that's true.
So that's why we're stopping it when we are on those 2 Fridays. Because I was doing the math out, and a lot of people were just like, you're going to finish this too early. And I'm like, I did not tell other people to factor in that on those Fridays we're finishing at 1. So it's going to be like a 5-hour stream on those mornings.
Yeah.
And then we'll be doing this show next week. Or next week, this show will be shot Thursday night. The weekend after, it will be shot back on the Fridays and everything. Anyways, though, That's going to be a ton of fun. That's going to be over on Twitch. Connor is looking into flexing RE1 around to make sure that he finishes that up, but he will be streaming that on Wednesdays. Monday, Pokemon Nuzlocke will be taking a break for a couple weeks to go and have those Persona streams happen. And then Tuesday, Thursday, this upcoming week, I'm continuing Halo 2. I will beat out Halo 2, which, like I just said, such a delight. Super, super fun. Shout out to the Patreon, where you can go and get this show 3 days early. You can go and get Casual Gaming Conversation 3 days early, and you can get an episode of the Casual Gaming a bonus episode of the Casual Gaming Conversation every single week over there. Also, you can get cool shows like the Co-op 64 podcast, like exclusive TikToks, like Recollection Retro. How excited are you for that one?
Stoked. I mean, we got to go film one, and
Yeah.
I'm just excited to go buy video games, honestly. So,
Connor's been holding back. He's getting excited. Is there anything that you're looking for going into this next episode?
I'm always looking for Vita games. I've been seeing a lot of Tales of Destiny lately. It's like a $150 game, and I'm like, it keeps popping up. It's begging me to buy it, dude.
It's out there. It's out there.
So I'm looking for that. A lot of PS1 games that I would like to pick up. It's just we're at the point with PS1 where it's a lot of expensive stuff. There's not a lot of cheap games to pick up at this point.
I think that you just like close the mirror, or like you look in the mirror and it's just you, and then you look back and then you look at the mirror again, and right behind you is Tales of Destiny.
Yeah.
Like it's just over your shoulder. It's always present. It's a good time.
It's the Chef Boyardee commercial where it's like we don't need it, and then it just follows me home.
That's a deep pull.
Yeah. Otherwise, I just ordered Injustice.
Ooh,
Gods Among Us on Vita.
there we go. That's a fun one.
I think it's a pretty okay port.
Oh,
apparently,
really?
But I haven't played any fighting games on Vita. I'm playing Sly 1, almost done with the Platinum. What a fucking game, dude. Just an excellent video game.
How much Street Fighter 6 am I going to make you play on Switch 2 with me?
Make me is the correct term
Yes.
there, because I'm not playing that on my own. I'm
No,
just not
but
a big fighting game guy.
So we just booked the flights for SGF, and I did not put us 3 across. But maybe I need to go back and get us 3 across, so I can sit in the middle of you and Brady when we're flying out really early that morning. We have like a 6 a.m. flight to LA or something. And I'm going to, instead of falling asleep, because we got to wake up at 3 a.m., instead of falling asleep, we're playing Street Fighter 6 the entire time. Not Mario Kart World.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're playing Mario Kart if we're playing anything on the plane.
The Street Fighter, like, why can't we play some Street Fighter? It's a bigger screen,
Mario Kart takes priority, Nick.
That's a good point.
I'm honestly gonna probably want to play a lot of it alone, just like finding all the secrets on the map and
totally.
everything on like while we're flying out.
Yeah.
Because I assume one of us or both or two of us are gonna pass out or whatever, and
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be sitting there playing Mario Kart the entire time.
I assume most likely that we get the Switch on June 5th. We have some Switch stories that we'll get into in here and everything. But we're going to get it June 5th. And then that night, I assume we stream Mario Kart, right? Like that Thursday leading into it.
If we
If
have
it,
and
right?
works,
and then we go from there. I did also think about this. This is just a little fun one. We're going to get into the Xbox Showcase news. That's headline number 1 here in a moment. But that Friday, Casual Gaming News Conversation will be the post-game breakdown and grading of SGF.
Oh, nice.
And then that Sunday, Casual Gaming Conversation is going to be grading the Xbox Showcase.
Sweet.
It's going to be a fun weekend. I'm looking forward to it. It is here officially on our end, and just like looking forward. It feels like Summer Game Fest season is actually starting to kick off. We'll get into more of that with story number 1. Back to the housekeeping. Also, thank you to all the dearly beloved members over on Patreon that make this show happen, where you can go and get your name read off at the end of every single podcast we do, and also get to write in for the Co-op 64 podcast, a chance for that topic to be read off. Connor, what was the topic that got read off last time?
Of course, it was LeBron James.
LeBron! I didn't want to send it this time because I know people audio podcast this one. But if you want a good time, go check out the Co-op 64 podcast. And once we get to that final topic, maybe turn down the decimal of your volume a couple, because your boy might absolutely send a full-on LeBron James. It was a good time. Shout out to the Discord. Over 2,500 members over there yapping it up about games. I threw in a great message this morning. Quick one-liner. Anyone else thinking about BO6 campaign this morning? Connor, what a campaign. What a good time that was.
Was anybody thinking about it?
No.
Exactly.
No one was. It was just me. But here's the thing, dude. I every now and then I use that as like my social media at this point. I try to stay off social media in general outside of Discord and then TikTok, obviously. But that's just a shower thought that I had. And I'm like, dude, that BO6 campaign is just such a fun ride. It's so good. But if you want to talk to me about BO6 campaign or any other game that you want to to discuss, or any game that anyone else is already discussing, join the Discord. It's linked in the description below. Super fun community over there. We have a PO box. This is one that we want to go and put in the housekeeping for just a couple shows to remind people of just, hey, we have it. It is in the link tree down below. If you go and click on the link tree, it's the first thing that pops up. A lot of people were like, hey, we totally forgot that this was a thing. And we're like, yeah, we don't promote it at all. So this is us going and saying, hey, it's over there if you want to go and send something there. Merch. We have new merch. I have another phone call with our merch provider to make sure that everything is being sent out properly. Things are seemingly starting to roll out. That's the last that I heard. And then I got my mug and then all that. So merch, it's awesome. The designs are super cool. The Co-op 64 established 2023 college logo looks awesome. So go check out the merch. It's coop64store.com. And then lastly, review us on Apple Podcast. Say something nice. It gets the show out to more people. And the comment section. If you want to go and say that we got something wrong in the previous episode, let us know. Right now, when it comes to, I just want to remind people, we're not going to read off like something that's opinionated. If we get something actually concretely wrong, let us know, because we will go and correct it for the next episode.
I only saw just discussion on Switch 2 and stuff.
Also, thanks for the discussion. Thanks for hopping in the comments. You don't need to only comment if we get something wrong. You can just be like, hey, I really like this show a lot. That would also be super kind. Or talk about your frustration of $80 Switch prices.
Or talk about the Nether.
There's so many comments.
Why did you say to comment that?
Oh, yeah.
It is very funny, though.
Get to the end of this episode to see what to comment. It'll be super fun.
Chicken jockey. The meme.
I'm trying to hop into headline one.
The meme is definitely about to die. I'm just getting my last one in at this point.
Connor, what's the Patreon goal? Just throw out the Patreon goal. We
I'm
will
not
go
going. I've already
to the
seen
Minecraft
it.
movie.
I've already seen it via clips of people in theaters watching it and filming it on their phones on TikTok. That's how you watch it.
Honestly, the way that I'm going to probably watch this movie is somebody, like, after it's released and everything, just like
putting clips up
up over on TikTok.
Watching Shawshank right now.
Really? That's your TikTok movie?
Yep.
It's always a good one.
Shawshank and Marriage Story are the two.
Nice. I am getting just a ton of Masters content. I'm just getting like, I don't know if there's anything that hypes me up more than a good sports edit. And I'm getting some great sports content with the Masters right now. It's that time of year. It's in the air. It's really funny because normally this point of the year is, okay, you're coming after March Madness. You got the Masters. And then it sort of just dies down from sports and everything. With the headline number one that we're about to hop into, and with just like Summer Game Fest seeming to be coming in at lightning speed, it feels like this sort of time period of April and May is just going to fly by. Whether it's new releases or it's like Doom is like close, like that sort of deal is just like insane to think about. So yeah, a lot of good stuff there. Speaking of Doom, headline number one, Xbox's big summer showcase is officially returning in June. This is Andy Robinson at VGC. Quote, Microsoft has confirmed its big summer Xbox showcase will return with a live stream set to take place on Sunday, June 8th. The Xbox Game Showcase 2025 will be live streamed from 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. UK time, followed by a second showcase focused on The Outer Worlds 2. The game showcase will include, quote, looks at upcoming titles from across our first-party studios, in addition to incredible new titles from our third-party partners across the globe, end quote. The Outer Worlds 2 Direct will reveal, quote, new gameplay, details, and developer insights straight from the people making the sequel to the award-winning first-person sci-fi RPG, end quote. Connor, let's start here. Outer Worlds 2 Showcase. Does this do anything for you? Are you shocked that it's the Outer Worlds 2? And are you excited for that portion after we get the rock block of the Xbox Showcase?
I'm disappointed that it is the Outer Worlds 2. I wish it was something else. It was supposed to be Fable, for sure. We both agree on that. That with the Fable delay, it's pretty obvious that was what the big breakdown was probably going to be. And now that it's pushed, we're getting the Outer Worlds 2. What was the last question from that? And then
are you okay with that being your rock block of 40 minutes at the end? Like, are you personally going to be seated? You know how we joke out about like, hey, this Mario Kart World Direct, I'm going to be seated. I will be there. I'm going to be in attendance. I'm going to be excited about it. Obviously, we'll be reacting to it. But are you going to be locked in on something like this?
No, not necessarily. I mean, like, I haven't even beaten the first one. I've barely even touched the Outer Worlds. Played like the first like few missions and like that's it.
Yeah.
So I do think based on the footage that we saw from IGN this week that it looks really impressive. Like
Yeah.
visually, I think it looks really cool and definitely has a unique aesthetic. But I do think that the gameplay looks a little bit like stilted, doesn't have like a good flow to it. But I think a lot of people would say that about the first Outer Worlds. So I'm not really shocked by that.
I do think also I watched the 11 minutes of gameplay it was, and some of it looked like there was like blurring of like this is definitely a preview build, and so hopefully some of those mistakes are taken out of the game by the time it actually releases later this year. For me, when it comes to this, I am excited that they're putting Obsidian in that premier spot because I think that they've earned it at this point of being the workhorse. With that being said, I do think that they could have gone somewhere else with this, or maybe this time around just don't do a bonus showcase. Last year, Call of Duty, that's a headline type game for me, obviously. Starfield, there's so much to discuss when we're talking about a open world RPG that is going to be 100 hours of game time if you really fuck with it. At the end of the day, this is a narrative based sort. It's not like straightforward, but it is a shorter campaign, and it's not going to capture the eyes that a Call of Duty or a Starfield would. And so I'm excited. I will be locked in on this. And honestly, if you're going to give them the ball in this moment, you got to make sure that they're shining. You got to make sure that they're showing up and delivering the goods, because you don't show 30 minutes of a game that is not going to wow and awe the audience. Like this is one that always felt like a B tier when it came to the exciting releases that we're getting from Team Green in the upcoming year or two. Make us believe that it's an A tier.
I don't feel confident that with this being here, it means that they've taken the next step into that A tier. Well, I mean, I could be proven wrong off of the footage that we see, but I think about it as great. I think about it as a great video game. What I still consider like Obsidian a very like 8 out of 10 B tier studio, like a very consistent.
I think that they're A tier just due to consistency, but they make a lot of 8 out of 10 games. Yeah,
they make. Nobody likes this comparison, but they're similar to Insomniac in that way. I think they can make a lot of games, a lot of good games, a lot of great games, but like I don't think they're capable, at least where they are now, of making one of the greats. So, and I do not expect that out of the Outer Worlds 2. And I think that with the right expectations, the Outer Worlds 2 can be a lot of fun, a great video game. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I also do think that they like knocked on the door and was like, hey, you just need to give us something for this time slot?
Yes.
That's probably the truth.
And I kind of wish I didn't even think of it as an option, that they just didn't do the big breakdown. I think 40 minutes of a game that's potentially like 20.
We don't know the time on it, by the way.
Gotcha.
Starfield was 40 minutes. Call of Duty last year, I feel like was a tight 30, maybe even less.
Okay.
Let me go and get those times as you continue on with your point.
Talking about like a 25-hour game, like that is a sequel, so we already kind of know the gist of the core gameplay loop. All they're probably going to go over is like the new additions, and I just don't feel like you need to spend 30, 25, 40 minutes on the Outer Worlds, which is kind of just like a known quantity that I think a lot of people are excited about and a lot of people want. But I don't know if this is this like mass market, like needs this big marketing push to sell it in the same way.
So Call of Duty got 28 minutes last year.
Okay.
I could see them even slicing that down to a cool 25, maybe even like 22. It give us a sitcom length episode of Outer Worlds 2, and I think that would be awesome. And especially if this game is coming out this year, make this just an extended Xbox Developer Direct moment. Like, which these showcases always have been, but there's been so much weight on them because it is a Black Ops, because it is Starfield. Make it a quick, fun moment of, hey, here's 22 minutes. This is the new mechanic in this game. This is the new story beat that's going to reel you in. Explain why this game is good for newcomers to the series that are people like us that are pretty high on about and want more Obsidian goodness, and go from there. I think that would be, if I'm on that marketing and PR team, that's what I'm doing. I'm saying, hey, let's make this only 22 minutes. And hopefully Xbox response is like, yeah, you can do that, compared to requesting, because we both assume that they probably got asked to do so for this time slot. They hopefully were not like, give us 35 minutes of the Outer Worlds 2. I'm like, this game's only so long. How much of Outer Worlds 2 can we actually discuss? I do think, though, marketing-wise, that this is a okay decision. This doesn't scream confidence, though, for me. My question to you is, Xbox Showcase last year. 10 out of 10 showcase, in my opinion. Literally perfect. Did I go, after having sweet dreams of BO6, watch the opening trailer from that showcase last year? Yes. Did I get goosebumps? Yes. One of the best showcases we've ever seen. Are you expecting a proper follow-up to last year's showcase at this point from Team Green?
No, they're in a really bad spot after last year, and it's not anybody's fault. They just had a really good showing last year, and they haven't really announced much of anything post the stuff that they've shown last year. That the dominoes have been in place for a while here, where we know that, well, Doom will have already been out, and then we have Fable, and then we have the Outer Worlds, and then we have Gears E-Day
and Perfect Dark, and Stalker 2. Sorry, not Stalker 2. State of Decay 3. Those games, just same part of my brain. Sorry about that.
It threw me through a loop. I was like very confused. Where like, okay, maybe we get a look at Halo here. Maybe, likely, we get a look at the next
Double Fine.
Double Fine. Sorry, I was thinking of the Gears collection.
Oh, okay.
We get a look at the Gears collection, and that's going to be exciting. But I don't know really what they can show us that's new to get me out of my seat. Last year, it felt like we got a lot of stuff that was like an update, like Perfect Dark, but like Perfect Dark had a CG trailer, and that was it. And we didn't even know if the game was actually going to come out. So getting like a full gameplay experience, it's like awesome. Gears would be cool to see gameplay. I think that's pretty likely at this point. But then when it comes to Fable and State of Decay, it's like, I don't know what they can show us to really like get me out of my seat. Whereas we're gonna get updates.
Well, I think Fable would be some UI in-engine, get us hyped gameplay for that title, because I feel like we still haven't seen a proper Xbox, because we saw alpha footage earlier this year.
Yeah, they got to sell me on that game.
Let's actually take a moment and sell us on that game.
I did not think that alpha gameplay looked very good, personally.
I think that it looked fine, and that you don't want that from one of your major IPs. For me, there are still dominoes and cards that they have to play and place when it comes to their first party. Halo, Double Fine with the new release. I wouldn't fucking doubt that we get another Obsidian title, if a smaller game from them at this point.
Maybe.
And then, which we do have a donut bet on, by the way, that Obsidian does release another game during this generation. And then Forza. Are we doing Forza 6 finally? And the assumption is, well, Playground's working on Fable, but I wouldn't be shocked if we get a tease on it at this point. I assume that there are people working on Forza Horizon 6 at Playground right now.
What about a tease for Elder Scrolls?
Well, that's the other thing. That's another big dog that you can go and throw out there.
You have to have something tangible to show.
Yeah, I just don't. I think that the thing you would show is a year. Hey, it's coming out 2027. And that's if I don't think that they do that unless it's 2027.
Yeah,
because right now, what's the steps? It's CG trailer, date, gameplay. That's sort of like the three different types of trailers that there are to persist. Like a release date trailer, a CG announcement trailer, or a gameplay trailer. Yeah. And like they don't have a gameplay trailer ready. We've already gotten a CG trailer, so it's got to be a date trailer. And we're not going to get a date trailer unless it's 2027.
You get a date trailer after the gameplay trailer, though.
Oh no, I'm saying those things can coincide together. Yeah. There could be a CG plus whatever. But I'm saying that the headline that would come from this would be the date. You do not show another CG trailer of this with just another title screen for Elder Scrolls 6. Maybe you could give the name.
Give the name. You could do the Witcher thing, where they just showed like a 7-minute cutscene where you get like more flavor of the world. You get the name. Maybe you get a year in that where they're like, okay, like we'll give you a 27,
window. Honestly, and I know this might sound dumb, but like if you want to get the people hyped for something that is a genuine sweet nothing, throw 2027 on it and still just have the moment between people like us. It's like, that's not coming out 2027.
Man, like what a blunder. What a blunder revealing that game when they did
2018, I think.
Where you could have this moment now and it still be early, where like the game's not coming out for a while, and it'd be really exciting. And it like that, if they don't announce it when they did, that is happening this year.
Yeah.
For sure. They revealed this game with maybe a longer trailer, but like
You want my tinfoil cap?
Yeah.
If that was 2018, which I believe it was, where we got Starfield and Elder Scrolls shown off,
yes,
I think that they could have been at the point where they were trying to go and up their stock price and try to sell the company. And that is why that they revealed both those things.
That's a fair point.
And once again, tinfoil caps, non-financial advice, all that stuff. I don't know shit about that. But like, I do think that there is a world that they were like, hey, we just wanted to show this is what we got and then move the fuck on.
How do you feel about the Oblivion shadow drop at this point? We were talking about it in the Discord.
There's so many stories on it. It's going to happen this month at this
point. Why? Is my question. Like,
why not just wait until June?
You get that synergy going. You get that brand.
It's about
a boost for the brand.
It's about Elder Scrolls, and that is why they're releasing that game for Elder Scrolls fans more so than Xbox people, and they wanted to coincide with a Elder Scrolls anniversary.
Why not both?
Connor, preach it to the choir. I'm just giving you the marketing reason that I believe.
They did the Elder Scrolls Online anniversary yesterday.
I understand there's more to come with this 10 years of fun and everything. I just think that we're going to end this April at this point. Where there's smoke, there's fire, and it seems that there's a fucking forest fire when it comes to this thing coming out this month.
I'm getting worried about it, honestly. The more we think about it and the more we talk about it, like the fact that there is no pomp and circumstance surrounding this, like there's no fanfare seemingly that it's just going to drop one day. It's like, how good could it be? You know what I mean?
I'll stay on this point with you for a moment. I do want to get back to the showcase here in a second. I think that there is a chance. This was another question I had in my bag of tricks. I think that there's a chance we get a partner showcase before this one. And I do think that that could set up some things really, really well.
That would be enough for me for that to make sense. To be like, okay, yeah.
Do we have a FBC Firebreak date yet?
It's summer.
Yeah, we don't have a date on it yet, though. Yeah. I think that there's a chance we get a date for that at like a partner showcase beforehand, get ready for the summer. Maybe. This is another one. I was talking about this. I think shadow drops are just on the table for this showcase. Just across. I honestly think that like between the 10% chance here, 20% chance here, there's like a 60% chance we get one. FBC Firebreak being one of those titles.
For the June
showcase. Sorry.
Gears?
No, we're not getting Gears shadow drop. That they need to market that game. They need to market
Gears
that game.
1, 2, and 3.
Gears Collection.
Yeah.
Yes, that's fine. I thought you were saying the E-Day. Jeez Louise.
No.
No,
I don't think Gears E-Day is coming out anytime soon, personally.
Little indie title. All Night Silksong. I could see shadow dropping here at this point.
Every single showcase we've gone into over the last like couple of years, talking about Hollow Knight, talking about the Xbox showcase, PlayStation State of Plays, or Nintendo Directs. This is the one.
Well,
where I've never slid my chips in and been like, I'm all in. It's gonna be there, and we're gonna get a trailer, a release date. This is where we see it.
2023 Game Awards, you felt pretty confident. I will throw that out there.
Did I?
That was your lock, because 2024, my lock was Hollow Knight Silksong gets a release date here. I do understand what you're saying, though, when it comes to the showcase aspects of what we've discussed. You've never been like, this is the one. I'm with you on this.
Yeah.
If this doesn't happen, this might, when we do our lengthy long shot that we'll do on casual gaming, I think that we might need to just take it off the board. Like that's just, we both look at the camera, it's happening. It's just like, it's going to happen.
Double lock.
Yeah. Just it. Oh my gosh, like Wonder Twins powers ordeal. Yeah, no, I think that that's a guarantee that's going to show up here. The shadow drop aspect of it is a question mark. And then something like when they bring up third party, what else do sort of like screams out of Xbox? I did have a Subnautica 2 dream last night.
That's weird.
Straight up. It was part like, I was like, what the fuck?
Subnautica's scary.
I was playing it and then I sort of went into the game and I was like, holy shit, I'm underwater. Anyways, thanks for bringing that back up. I just forgot about it, Connor. Gosh darn it. No, I think that there's a chance that shows up. Partner showcase from last year. They have some sort of relationship there. I think that there's a chance we get another Metal Gear Solid Delta trailer. I think that might honestly be a little too much marketing for that game, but it's August. You need to have those marketing beats and keep on showing it.
You're definitely going to see it there, I would imagine. Between one of these showcases presentations, if Sony does something,
I could easily see a SGF. I think that would be a great place of, hey, it's at that showcase, quick little marketing beat, move on to the next thing.
Trailer.
Yeah. They've shown everything they can for that game is the issue. When we got that trailer in February at State of Play, I was like, there's no way this game isn't like May. Because how many more marketing beats can you hit?
Right.
And you need to hit those marketing beats. I'm like, how much more material of this goddamn remake can you show off without legitimately getting together the whole game? They've shown the end of this game. They've shown the middle of this game. They've shown the opening of this game. They've showed different modes in this game. I'm like, you've shown the entire game. But the nice part is it's a remake. So who fucking cares? But goddamn, that was a moment last year during the Xbox showcase where we saw the Halo drop and we're just like, holy shit, this looks awesome. So
how likely do you feel Halo is at this point?
Unlikely.
You don't think we get a teaser?
Actually, they need something. They need a one more thing. I do think that they got burned so badly by Redfall that they're like, we're not ever having a showcase without a one more thing that is known quantity stuff.
Yeah.
So it's Halo, Forza, or I
can't end a presentation with Forza.
I agree with that to some level. You can't, because that's too niche market. Yeah, I think that I'm sort of just backing myself into believing that it is Halo, unless you want to do new IP with Double Fine and really give them the spotlight.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be...
Or Psychonauts 3.
It would have to be something that was really immediately impressive from Double Fine. That
if you want to close out...
If you go from Gears to Double Fine, I feel like a lot of people would be a little bit disappointed. I would be okay with it, but...
Yeah, I think that when we're predicting this showcase out, my guess would be, how the fuck do you open this thing? It's... I think pretty easily Gears of War Day, and you do a gameplay trailer and you put a date on it.
You see, that would get them out of Halo if they open with Fable and end with Gears.
That's a good point, but I don't think
or
that
you do Gears in the middle and you do like Elder Scrolls at the end or something.
My issue is you can't do this showcase without giving us something new at the beginning or end.
See, here's the thing: is I think they can. I think they have. That's the problem with my perspective on the showcases. I think you can easily get away with showing more Perfect Dark. Finally doing an in-depth look at Fable. Finally do the gameplay for Gears. Finally get gameplay for State of Decay 3 and a release date, release year, something. And then sprinkle in third-party stuff in between that, Hollow Knight in there. And that's a great showcase. I think that's totally fine.
Yeah, I see some validity to that. And then there are things like Clockwork Revolution. Are we going to get more of that game? Are we going to get more State of Decay 3? Is Everwild's going to show up with gameplay? That would be, honestly, that in my opinion would be a great one more thing. Of, hey, it's one of your major studios coming back out and saying what's up. And if it's gameplay and a date, I think that can close out a show.
Do people look at Rare the same way as they used to? And would you put Everwild on the same level as something like Gears E-Day reveal?
Xbox has 3 IP that are on the same level and everything. Honestly, they have 2 IP because Forza's a niche title.
What I'm saying is that you need to close with one of those then. And they have others. I think that with Bethesda, you could argue Doom and Elder Scrolls are something you could end with.
How about this? Gameplay for Blade.
See, that's another one.
I just got goosebumps.
Yeah, I completely forget that game even fucking exists all the time. How exciting! You know what I mean?
How awesome is that, right?
Yeah,
no, that's gonna be fucking.
That would be great.
Rad.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. That's something that would be on the same level. I think that something like ending with Everwild would be like. It's not the same as State of Decay 3, but like it would be in that same kind of vein of just like a little bit of a step down from something that's really exciting. Everwild has already been shown too. It's not like it's this new thing. You put that in the middle of the showcase.
Yeah, that's the hard part is we're just talking about like what's going to close it out. No matter what, I think we're going to get a shit ton of gameplay.
Yeah.
And if you are a fan of Jeff Keighley like I am, you love raw gameplay. That is a term that he coined a couple years ago, and honestly it's the truth of why SGF is so good and impactful is you get gameplay. Finally we're gonna probably see that from Xbox, but
we had a lot last year too.
Not as much as you would think. Like a lot of it was trailers. We got South of Midnight gameplay, we got some Call of Duty gameplay, obviously.
Perfect Dark
Perfect Dark and snippets of Fable, but like when I think of that showcase, I think about Indiana Jones had a 5-minute trailer without gameplay, really.
Was there no gameplay in that?
There might have been at the very, very end.
Yeah,
it was a whole...
I've played the game, so I know like where... It is a long cutscene.
Yeah, it's a long cut. And then like Avowed was like quick hits. Like it wasn't this like all-in gameplay showcase. South of Midnight was and Perfect Dark was the most gameplay focused. But when I say gameplay, I also look at it as like, when are we gonna get uncut 5-minute sections of gameplay? Right. Even something like Perfect Dark, we only saw like quick hits of gameplay.
Fable and Gears this year. Then
Yeah,
that's what I think.
I think
you get 2 full gameplay showings. I think you get finally a trailer showing off gameplay, but not like this 5-minute thing of State of Decay 3.
Yep, finally.
I think you get Everwild would be cool, or Double Fine showing back up.
Clockwork Revolution, I do think, is a game that they need to sell us on. So
yeah, I don't know if you just need that right now, though. You know what I mean? Because you have all these other games lined up.
I don't know if they necessarily do. Last year, going into this showcase, it was very, very clear of, we know we got Avowed at the end of this year. We know we got Indiana Jones at the end of this year. And then something like Fable is probably next year. South of Midnight's next year. Doom is next year. That's where we left that showcase with 5 dates for the next year from first-party titles. And seemingly, all those things are going to happen within this year. So good on them for actually delivering the goods with these dominoes for the first time ever in this generation, and maybe in the past 10 years.
Including Fable in that?
I was not including Fable in that. I was saying South of Midnight, Avowed. Oh, 4 games then. Sorry.
Yeah.
My bad. But yeah, so the dominoes for 4 major games once a quarter. That's what they said. We want once a quarter. They did it.
Do you think we see the handheld? The Asus
such a great question.
Handheld.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got to. They got to do it. I
Fall,
if I'm them,
winter 2025, and
September. Dude. It's the hard part is you want to distance this a little bit from the Switch, I guess, but like still.
What about Steam?
Yeah, I think this thing is able to run Steam.
No, I mean,
on an Xbox.
You think they do? I think if it can run Steam on this and it has that integrated like UI, I think that's going to everything.
Do you think that means my Series X will be able to run Steam with an update?
I think it's possible.
That would be.
That you could save it for a future console.
That would be all-time, big-time rush level shit. Like,
it would be awesome for the consumer for sure. It would kill Xbox in a software perspective.
I mean,
why would you buy anything on Microsoft Xbox Store when you can just buy it on Steam?
Nobody's buying anything on Microsoft Store though. They're playing it through Game Pass.
That's true.
The reason my Xbox is a Game Pass machine in the same way it is for every other Xbox consumer. I'm convinced about that. Unless you are a Call of Duty, FIFA, Fortnite player and you like the Xbox ecosystem and controller. If you are not that, then it is a Game Pass machine. That's it.
It would be a quadrupling down on Game Pass at this point, and I don't think that's a good idea. It's been proven time and time again that it's not working.
I think that it's here's where I'm at with it. I actually think that Game Pass right now it should be getting its praises sung more often because of things like $80 games.
Nobody's denying that it's a good value. I'm not denying that. I think it's one of the best values, if not the best value in gaming. If you want to play games on the cheap and have a lot of games to play and have some new releases with Xbox first party studios, it's a fucking fantastic deal. It is not profitable for them in the long run.
Yeah,
they put Call of Duty on it and they grew 2%. Like, that's terrible. Like, they need to grow more to make it make sense with the Activision Microsoft deal, Activision Blizzard deal.
If you go and release a handheld or the next generation of Xbox, if it has Steam available on it and your gameplay options are Steam and Game Pass, and that is your entire thing, where you're going to be picking up these sweet Steam deals and everything, and then playing Game Pass when it comes to your major Xbox releases, and then when there's something like Blueprints that comes out, like, I want to play that this month, you just pick up Game Pass for $20.
Okay.
There's going to be some goodness there.
There's 4 million Steam Decks out there.
Yeah.
How many do you think this sells? And if so, you say 2-3 million.
2.5 million was what I would throw out there.
Every single person on that signs up for Game Pass that isn't already signed up for Game Pass.
That's a good point.
What, you gain 1 million?
At most, yeah. But
I don't see that mattering for them.
I mean, that's another what? How many Game Pass subs are there
30?
right now? Yeah, so you're getting 40? Another 3% growth, I guess.
Yeah.
There's some validity to the fact that they've already are in a extremely saturated market of people that want this product and already have it. How many people want this product and don't have it is the question at this point.
34 million.
34 million? So yeah, you're growing about 3% if you get another million on there. Year. But like, I think that even though it's a very saturated market and it's not this thing that's going to be able to boom, like they're not going to find a way to be able to pull out another 5 million people. The question is, getting a Steam handheld, I do think pricing on this thing is a hugely important aspect. Can we get this handheld out for $400? Can we make something that's cheaper than Steam Deck and it plays your Steam games?
No, I don't think so. Not in this market.
If I'm them, I try to find a way. Hey, right now, apparently the Nintendo Switch is as good as the Xbox Series X. Or sorry,
well,
S.
the Switch is $450, and
I
then
understand.
have,
So can you find a way? Can you find
ROG
maybe you
ROG
fucking
Ally?
take a loss on it. Maybe you take a loss and put it out for 400. Maybe
I don't think that Xbox isn't. I think Microsoft's in a position to take losses. I don't think Xbox is a brand, and Microsoft looking at them are like, yeah, go lose money right now.
Put it out for 450 and get under the Steam Deck price. All you gotta do is get under Steam Deck.
Yeah, that's fair.
If you are able to become the Steam Deck market, there are more people like myself that don't have a Steam Deck that want this. I want a reason to go and play my games on the go. As it seems like traveling more and more and doing other shit is just a part of our lives. It's like I want to be able to take something on the go.
You have a perfect solution right
Connor,
in front of you, Nick.
Nobody gives a flying fuck about the Vita except
do you
for...
see the comments on our most recent video, Nick?
I did.
Everybody's singing the praises
There's
of the
like
Vita.
6 people.
It's coming back 2025, 2026.
There's like 6
year
people.
of the Vita. We're playing
Honestly-
Sly Cooper.
honestly-
We're playing Velocity Ultra.
Hey, honestly-
We're getting trophies.
I am sorry. I said nobody's playing the Vita in 2025 except for this man. And you guys came out by the handfuls.
Literally half a dozen of you.
That's on me.
It's a groundswell. It's a movement.
That is when we're talking about 1% of our audience. That might be less than, that's like point something over, but that's on me. There are people out there.
Yeah.
So I apologize. It's on me. Please find a better use of your time.
Do you think that Sony is sitting in the office, like looking at the PS Vita numbers? I know this isn't how this worked, but for this hypothetical, they're looking there at the PS Vita numbers and just like beep, beep, boo, just like a massive spike or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
because it went from 4 active players to 10, and they're like, that's 250% growth, baby.
Yeah.
Oh my
They're
God.
seeing it. They're like, we need to get on this. Vita 2. It's happening.
Going into last year, I think both of our hype levels around a 9 out of 10 for the showcase. Where's your hype level at?
8
I
out
think
of 10?
I think I'm at an 8.
I think these games are going to be great. I just think when you asked me earlier, like how I feel going into this and how is it going to compare to last year, I think it's going to be tough to meet last year.
Yeah, we were talking about trying to go and match, in my opinion, Xbox's best showcase ever.
Yeah.
And one of the top 5 showcases ever.
And it's not bad if they don't meet it.
Yeah,
it's just
no,
like
you can't. So the question,
it's a tough act to follow.
The question is, how do you find a way to match that energy? And I do think that the formula is pretty simple. It is open with Gears and with Halo, delight and excite in between, shadow drop something, come in with third party that is legitimately exciting. If they have Hollow Knight Silksong here with a date, day 1 on Game Pass, that is the same level of excitement as something like a Perfect Dark, right? Like that's the same for. And here's the thing, I think that people would be like, fuck what you just said. That is more exciting than anything that Xbox has to show ever. There are people in our audience. There are people in the gaming sphere that are like, that is the number one. So if they have arguably the biggest indie title, I know this might sound dumb, ever.
Yeah.
Like, then we're talking about a banging showcase. And there's a lot to be excited about there, for sure. Story number 2, Wind Waker GameCube on Switch 2 doesn't mean Wind Waker HD won't get ported, Nintendo says. This is Chris Scullion over at BGC. Quote, the Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD are 2 of the few Wii U games that have been yet to be ported to Switch, and the announcement of the GameCube version of the Wind Waker is coming to Switch 2 has led some to believe that Nintendo will never port over the Wind Waker HD as a result. However, this isn't necessarily the case, according to Nintendo of America's Senior Vice President of Product Development, Nate Bildorf. On Tuesday's episode of Kinda Funny Games Daily, Tim Geddes reported that he'd been speaking to Bildorf at a Switch 2 press event in New York last week, and the topic of Wind Waker HD came up. Quote, but I did ask if having the Wind Waker on Nintendo Switch Online precludes it from the Switch 2 getting the actual Wii U port at some point. He was very quick to say no. All options are on the table. End quote. Connor, is this actually going to happen eventually? Are you a believer of Wind Waker HD coming to the Switch 2?
This is so typical Nintendo. Why charge you once when they can get you twice.
Connor?
Sign up for that Nintendo Switch Online. Give us those dollars then, and we're going to charge you $70, $80 for the Wind Waker port a second time.
Nintendo is just dancing on those fat stacks with something like that. 100%. This is 100% the...
And they'll do it with the Switch 2 and the OLED version.
Yep.
Why don't they have an OLED version? Because you're going to buy one and they're going to buy the other.
Yep.
They got the audience for it. They're going to do it. They're going to find a way to charge you twice. It's something that is totally unnecessary and something that you don't need to get. Like, if I'm going to play Wind Waker, I have it on GameCube already. I can play it on NSO since I already have the subscription for that. If they come out with Wind Waker again on Switch 2 for like the HD version, it's like, you got to just ask yourself, you're like, what's the point of me buying this? But I think a lot of people will buy it.
Wind Waker comes out. Well, here's the main question. How many consoles are actually going to be out there when it comes to the groundswell of people that are now excited to still buy a Switch 2? I think it's going to be a lot more people than a lot of people are saying right now.
Yeah.
Yes, there's going to be, let's just say it sells half the amount, the Switch 2 sells half the amount lifetime that the Switch 1 sells, which would be a failure on their part. But
75 million is
still
not that bad.
Yeah, it's still a shit ton. That's like a 5 million seller right there. Switch if it comes to HD, Wind Waker HD or Twilight Princess, I think that sells 4 or 5 million easy.
Where do you think, just non sequitur or kind of a non sequitur, just because you mentioned the sales of the Switch 2, where do you think it ends up? There's 150 million Switch 1s out right now.
Is it 150?
Yeah.
I thought it was 130 for some reason. 100 million units.
125.
Yeah. I think that like
I think the price knocks it down a good chunk, but not so substantially that I think it would like it would prevent them from getting over 100.
We have two stories that are very much talking about that, basically, where Switch is going to end up and stuff like that. Going back to this one, there is a lot of people that do not have NSO.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Switch consumers that do not have NSO. They just like playing their Switch games. They like playing their Mario Party, their Mario Kart with their spouses. They like playing with their friends. Things like ARMS that sells, just a shit ton of copies, even though, not a shit ton, but like a lot of copies for some fucking reason that do not have NSO. And so when Wind Waker HD comes out, that's another one of those titles that you're like, shit, I enjoyed being a kid once. I'm going to go and pick that up. Like having the ability to see it on your digital store or you're in Walmart or whatever. That's how these types of things just go and add up over time when it comes to the total sales. And I do think that this is going to sell a ton. They're not like, it's not going to sell Breath of the Wild numbers or any...
A port, an HD
Yeah, I do think
port.
an HD port would sell, like I said, 5 million, 6 million.
Yeah, maybe something like that. I could see it being hurt by the availability of it already on Nintendo Switch Online. But I think, like you said, a lot of people just don't even have that. They just see new Zelda. Let me go buy that.
Zelda's more popular than it has ever been after Breath of the Wild and Tears. I think that people forget how much of a outright breakout moment Breath of the Wild was when it came to the Zelda franchise and like really blowing open the doors on how mass media looks at Zelda compared to just the niche gamer. And now I think honestly them holding their cards back on this one, I know it's been annoying and like pulling teeth for some gamers when it comes to how much we want this port, but like them going and edging us for a little bit on this one now allows them to go and release it down the line, and it's going to be fucking awesome when it releases.
Yeah, I could see them never doing it though, personally.
They like money too much.
Yeah.
Nintendo is really good about getting money and doing it at the proper time. Sometimes even to shoot themselves in the foot with something like Welcome Tour, which is
ridiculous
and really, really funny.
They must know that they're not going to make any money on that, right?
Yeah.
Who's buying that?
I mean, we're gonna pick one up.
No, we are not.
I'm gonna pick one up.
Why?
I want to review it. I'll spend 10 of my own dollars and we'll get there, dude.
No, I'm not touching
I'll
that.
swipe Connor. You're telling me it's the day one. We're gonna be on a plane and there's
so much to play day one on Switch 2.
That's a good point.
Why would I waste my time on a tutorial like mini game thing?
I really, really want to replay Undertale, and I just don't have the time to replay Undertale. And I like going into Deltarune. Come on,
I have the Switch right now. You know what would be a great place to play Undertale with trophies on the go? Oh my goodness, Nick! It's the PlayStation Vita. It's perfect. Do you want one? I can get you one. We can go to the store and pick one up right after this. You can take it with you this weekend on vacation. Going to visit your friend. You can take
so
him to the bar tonight. You can be playing like when you're waiting to go to the bathroom or something. It's perfect. It's perfect, Nick.
I'm just imagining myself at the bar.
Take it with
a single lady walks up to me. Hey, looking really cute tonight. I'm like, yeah, it's because I got the PlayStation Vita. No, I
stay ready to game.
I will say this. I will be taking Brady's Switch, where I have 60 hours of Tears of the Kingdom played. And I will be beating that when I go and fly down to Miami this upcoming week.
Finally.
Yeah. That's one of those that like, I think is one of the best games I've ever played. Like, it is just phenomenal. I just need to go and actually sit down and beat it because it's been too long. I need to get through that experience, but I'm stoked on it.
We talked about this before we started filming. We don't have the story about the DLC not being in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Like, that's just a ridiculous, stupid decision to make for when you're going to charge $70 for Breath of the Wild on Switch 2 for the updated version to not have the DLC included. I'm somebody who didn't play the DLC for Breath of the Wild and would consider going back and playing Breath of the Wild and Tears, but am I going to have to buy the DLC like separately at this point?
Yeah.
And it's not packaged in. It's like,
but also the DLC, let's be real about the DLC for Breath of the Wild. It's not like it's this like it's a game changer in the way that certain DLCs are.
Well, for me, when it comes to my experience with Breath of the Wild, it's all about the shrines, and there's 120 something of them, and I did 80, 90. So having another 20 some or however many it is for the DLC, it's like that is kind of a game changer for me of new content that I can be excited about.
Connor this morning had the Masters up on the TV. Connor rolled in. He saw my setup. I got my old laptop connected. I was editing some videos yesterday. I was having a great couple days watching the Masters. This morning, I woke up, slept in a little bit, had a late night of gaming. And I just needed to feel something. I just need to feel alive. So I did go and rewatch the Black Ops trailer. Connor's realizing and I think the audience is realizing how much I love video game showcases and trailers. I was just like really excited about the Switch this morning. And I did rewatch the Breath of the Wild first trailer. And I was
Reveal
on
date trailer?
The first trailer. The one from 2017, the one that closed out E3
have you seen
their launch.
The initial trailer, the first ever trailer?
I don't think I've ever watched that trailer.
It's really good.
Anyways,
it's a quick snippet, gives you the whole vibe.
I have seen this trailer.
Yeah,
I have seen this trailer. Yes.
It's visually like really like pretty.
Yeah.
or whatever. It's etched into my brain.
I watched that trailer, Connor, and it was not the single tear. It got both eyes.
Yeah.
And I just left there, and I rewatch video game showcases. I probably watch a video game showcase once every other week. Like, that is sort of my cadence. I love them. They provide me immense amount of joy. It is probably my favorite part about talking video games with you. That moment is just, for a game that I was not there in 2017 to play and pick up and do this whole thing, that is like one of the most well-crafted trailers ever, and it shows the impact that video game music can have and how much of a bar raise that was. I just like bringing up the story of like the DLC being not there. It's like, yeah, but the people that have already played Breath of the Wild and want to play Breath of the Wild and everything again, they don't care. They just want to get back into that world. And those are going to be the people that pick it up on Switch too. It's like, this is another story we didn't include because we had a conversation that was a 5-second conversation. We both ended up on the same wave on, I believe. The Last of Us 2 and 1 remastered part. It's like a lot of people are really upset about it. It's like, dude, they're just bundling it. They're throwing in some artwork and they're going to make money for the people on the HBO show. This is not for the gamers that have played The Last of Us 30 times. And if you are a gamer that's played it 30 times, guess what? Now you can go play it again if you really want to play it that 31st time at a cheaper price point.
There are so many things to get mad about in the gaming industry that, like,
layoffs,
yeah,
$80 price tags on things, yeah,
charging $10 for the welcome tour. This doesn't matter. Packaging two games together and giving people the option to just buy them together had some people crashing out. It's like, I just don't care about, like, why do we care about this?
I don't get it.
And like you said, it makes perfect sense with the TV show. It's all about that synergy. That's what PlayStation is now. They make movies and then or TV shows, and they want the game to kind of promote that. Shocked we didn't get a Twisted Metal game off of that the success of the TV show, but that's kind of their MO right now. We got the Helldivers movie coming up. We got the Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, Horizon. They want all of these things to like work in tandem. Of course, they're going to put something out alongside the Last of Us TV show when people are going to be playing or watching the show who have never played the game and are like, okay, let me just pick up this. I can pick up both of them. Yeah, I'll do that. That's what they're trying to get.
Yeah,
you don't have to buy it.
Great ones. Yeah, don't get angry. Like Connor said, there's so many more things to be angry about.
Yeah,
there's so many more things. This show, it's always fun when this show isn't just like headline all negative. Sometimes whether it's layoffs or bad business practice or whatever, it is nice to see just like, hey, let's talk about a showcase for a little bit.
Right.
But like, yeah, we didn't. For me, I was like, this headline is such a nothing burger, and we had that conversation literally for 5 seconds, then we moved on to a different topic. I was like, there's nothing to discuss here, other than we're both not upset about this in the slightest. This also is not taking away Bloodborne Remastered. If I see another person go and say that online, I'm gonna lose my shit. They're being like, oh, you're gonna remaster this and not Bloodborne? It's like,
you just don't know anything about video games if you're saying that. Like, that's not how that works.
Yeah.
They have nothing to do with each other.
Yeah. Headline, Switch 2 stock is already in the US as Nintendo prepares for launch demand. This is Haley Williams at GameSpot. Quote, with just under 2 months until the Switch 2 launches on June 5th, Nintendo is preparing to meet demand for the console, which means inventory has already started shipping out across the world. That's right, the Switch 2 has already landed in the US. In an interview with CNBC, Nintendo of America President Doug Bowser discussed pre-orders and meeting launch demand. Quote, it remains to be seen, and quote, he answered when asked if Nintendo will be able to keep up with the demand at launch. Quote, but that's certainly our goal. We've had some time to build up inventories on a global basis, so we really do hope that we can meet that demand, Bowser said. They've even landed already in some of the United States, end quote. And then I'm just going to combine these two stories, just bringing the headline because it is the exact same headline as last week, but with United States. Nintendo Switch 2 tariff pre-order delays hits Canada 2. It's an article from Rachel Weber at IGN. It's the same press release minus the tariff part. that is the too long didn't read sort of deal. Great article though from Rachel Weber. Give her the click over there. Connor, the launch date moving around, these tariffs. Where are you at with all this news as we discuss it to close out this episode of CGNC?
Yeah, it's good that they have some stock in the United States. There was speculation that was the case, so it's good to get that firmed up a little bit. Obviously, since last we talked about this, the tariffs have been dropped back down to 10%, barring China.
Yep.
Those tariffs. And it seems that these are manufactured in Vietnam, per the reporting we've heard. So it seems like all systems go for the Nintendo Switch 2. Hopefully, no price change at this point. Happy about that. I was not looking forward to the eventual shitstorm that was going to come with a price hike if these tariffs stuck. I'm excited for the pre-order date to be announced and the fanfare that's going to be around. I got my pre-order. I secured my pre-order and just go full tilt on being excited about the upcoming release. I know that the discussion and the discourse around it is going to be spicy over the next few months around Switch 2, but I'm looking forward to the discussion about the games in the console more so than anything when it comes to this console. So I'm glad we're getting things a little bit more firmed up, and it seems like we're moving in a good direction.
Yeah, this is, in my opinion, great news. Like, I think a lot of the questions that we did not know, Doug Bowser is answering a lot of those questions in these interviews. Sometimes he could word some things better when it comes to these interview questions. But when it comes to this point, hey, we got stock in the United States already. That to me reads as, you really can't say something like that and then raise the prices to be like, hey, we got to import a lot more. The only reason you'd be doing that at that point is, hey, we might sell out and then the next batch is going to be tariffed up to the wazoo and it's going to be a lot more expensive. So we need to go and raise the prices. I think that this reads as, hey, we already got a amount here. Tariffs are no longer what they were about a week ago when it came to Trump's order there. And so, yeah, I'm kind of in on this story. I think that this is a good news story. There was obviously a lot that came out around the CNBC with Doug Bowser and his wording on other questions.
I want to hop in on that real fast. I'm surprised we didn't have a story about it, about the if Switch 2 is too expensive, then we have Switch 1 for you. One of the worst putting your foot in your mouth situations I've ever seen, because I know what he means.
Yep.
When he says that. It's pretty easy to see too that they're going to support the Switch 1 for at least the future past to Switch 2. We have Rhythm Heaven, we have Tamagotchi Life, we have Metroid Prime, we have Pokemon. I imagine the next Pokemon game likely going to be on Switch 1 as well. And I would imagine there's stuff that we don't know about outside of that is probably going to come to both consoles. So what he's saying makes sense, but it's like, why would you say that?
He should have not answered the question that way. He literally should have said, hey, what it's up for the people who can't buy it. We are very excited for what we have happening with Switch 1 in the future of it, with the games we plan on releasing there. That's the you need to just skip over it. You need to make it not a headline, because the headline on it was not
It's
good.
Don Matrick-esque from the Xbox 360 to 1.
By 360.
But that was a different situation. It was like, what if we can't connect? What if you don't have the ability to connect to online?
Yep.
It's like, well, you can just use the Xbox 360. And like, that's not a fair argument.
No.
I think that the idea that it's too expensive is a fair point, and that is going to suck. And hopefully we can wait for sales, wait for bundles, or the price eventually comes down if people are passionate enough about it.
It's not gonna come down.
I agree, but I'm just saying that based off of the backlash, the way that people are talking about it, there's a chance that that it comes out the gate and stumbles, and that might change their perspective.
That's a good point. If it does not sell gangbusters, but we both expect it to sell exceedingly well.
Yeah. And for those people who don't want to buy it right at launch, or it's too expensive for them at this moment, the Switch 1 you can be comfortable at least keeping for a while, knowing that you're not just going to be completely abandoned.
Yeah.
I think that's a fine thing to say. It's just a horrible way to say it.
Yep.
So I think that's pretty interesting. But when it comes to this, I'm excited about Switch 2. I'm excited that it seems like we're going to hopefully not have any more roadblocks going forward.
I think that we are through the bad news cycle for Switch 2.
You think the discussions on this are going to calm down up to release, where it's not going to all be about pricing and everything? Because that's how it felt with PS5 Pro as well, where PS5 Pro gets announced, $700, people are pissed. And then it comes out, and then it feels like nobody is talking about how terrible PS5 Pro is.
I don't relate the Switch 2 to the PS5 Pro at all.
Really?
At all. Those are two different types of products. That I was more so would relate the PS5 Pro to the Switch OLED launch, and those are apples to apples to me. But when it comes to the launch of the PS5 Pro, I think that there is not a lot of similarities that can be drawn between both those things.
I'm just talking about people saying X product is too expensive, I'm not buying it, and then it sells.
other than that aspect of it, that there's the comparison that you can draw. But what I'm saying is this is a mass market launch compared to a niche market launch, and so the pricing discussion of some people just being very loud about something when it's only going to be bought by a couple million people is not as potent as obviously this is going to be. With that being said, I do think that this is very much going to remain on the price. I think that Mario Kart is going to have a hell of a display this upcoming Thursday for that direct. And everyone in those comments are going to be saying lower the price. I think that every single time that we get any Switch 2 stuff for a long time, it's going to be a lot of people saying to lower the price, because there's so many people that want this product that are feeling not comfortable with the price point of the console, or in my opinion, more importantly, the games. With that being said, it will be muted a little bit with the release of, hey, no, you're just playing Mario Kart and you're excited about that. Like, we're going to be discussing the price point of these games for years to come, I assume, on this show, because this is an important factor for the market forever. Whereas there's other, like I said, with the PS5 Pro, it's just like, we stopped talking about the PS5 Pro when it came to that launch a little bit. So I'm looking forward to that discourse, but I do think that it's not going to be this high level all the time conversation, because people are just going to be excited about their Mario Kart. They're going to be excited about their Metroid. But there will be people, I also think that there's going to be people that do not have the console that are going to be very vocal about the price point of it, that legitimately we're never going to buy a Switch, do not care about a Switch, and they just want to be angry about something, and they're just going to be screaming into the void.
I wonder how many people are on that side of things and eventually end up buying the console, because it just takes one game for a lot of people to be like, I really want this thing or whatever. Like, Zelda was enough for people to pick up the Switch 1 initially, and people were not happy with the Switch 1 at launch. People were kind of like kind of out on it leading up to it, and then once it came out, they're like, Zelda's fucking amazing, and then people are like, fuck, I have to buy Switch One.
I will say,
I think that could happen here.
The comparison to the PS5 is actually a lot better than I initially gave it credit, because I think that the people just screaming out of the fucking void is how that goes with the Switch 2 and the launch. There's going to be people just banging the drum of like, hey, this is a fucking greed and awful. And we are very much on the wave of like $80 price tag from Nintendo. Sure, it makes sense. It still feels really fucking bad.
You're valid in yelling about it.
Yes.
I'm not saying that it's not okay to complain about these price points. That is a perfectly valid complaint. I do want to point out that I do think that it is interesting, like with Nintendo, that at the very least, I feel like I know what I'm getting from a Nintendo game if I'm going to put in that $80.
Yeah.
Like, Nintendo games are very polished, barring Pokemon, where it's like, I'm getting a polished single-player product, for the most part, single-player, that I can look forward to playing X amount of hours. And hopefully they explore, the Doug Bowser, we're going to explore the price scale. They cannot go to $90 on this console. They cannot, dude.
They will not go to 90. I do think that my hope, the best headline that they can get is they need one of their major titles to remain at $60. And when I say major titles, I don't mean Zelda. I mean Splatoon, Fire Emblem, Bayonetta. One of those that's like, hey, it's only a 10-hour game. I think that Fire Emblem, because of the length and the fandom, but something like Bayonetta, I think is really that sweet spot where it's like, Bayonetta, Captain Toad, something that is a 10-hour experience. Don't charge $70 for that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah, when he says we're going to explore the scale, he should have said, like, we'll go down to 70, maybe 60. I think that the idea of 90 is scary, but the wiggle room to be like, okay, this is maybe like a smaller title, $60. I'm like, great. And that, it, to me, read more like, we're not going to have that many, like, every title isn't going to be $80.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that, clearly, not every major Nintendo title is going to be $80. Donkey Kong Bonanza being $70 is the proof of that. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, I don't know how you get bigger than a 3D platformer from Nintendo, other than Zelda, Mario Kart, stuff like that.
Do you think we see more $70 games or $80 games?
70.
I'll say 80. I think
so we're more so. Let's from Nintendo.
Yeah.
Because I was including things like third party people coming in and trying to go.
I think if you're third party and you're on PS5 and Xbox, you got to stay at 70.
Exactly. So the main question is Splatoon. That's my like, because Splatoon fucks ton of hours. You're gonna play the shit out of Splatoon.
That's
if you play
be a
Splatoon.
$70 game.
Is it 70 or are they going to be bold enough to put it up at 80? Because guess what? I'm not Mr. Splatoon, but the people that love that title will spend the 80, and they'll also spend 50 hours playing it.
I think we'll know our answer very quickly because of
Kirby Air
Riders. Yep, that's the one. Whatever that price is, I feel like
I'm going to throw this out there, and I think that you might be on a silver way, so we don't donut bet on it. There's a 1% chance that game is $80.
I think that you kind of got to bet on the trend of Nintendo just really leaning into this higher price point.
There's no way Kirby Air Riders is a more fulfilling and bigger.
I'll take the bet. I don't feel good about it, but I'll take the bet. I don't want it to be $80, but I feel like with where Nintendo is charging $10 for Welcome Tour, that
I do. By
they
the way,
might charge $80.
I do owe you a donut.
I got one.
Wait, we do have a few of these. Let's close out the show there.
I feel like I owe it. I'm losing all of them every single time I make one of these bets. I'm wrong, but they're fun to make.
So I do owe Connor a donut because Mario Paint did not show up at Nintendo's April Direct. I said it would. Connor said it wouldn't. And then Connor does owe me a donut right back at it, baby, where Metroid Prime 4 date at Switch 2 Direct we did not get. Oh, damn. It's a
Let's go!
double donuts for Connor.
I think we had a back and forth about it not showing up at all.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you think it was, but I think we landed on just no date at Switch 2.
So, and then Mario launch title, Connor said it would be there. I said it would not be a launch title.
Okay.
I got a donut back. So I owe you one donut this Sunday. We had a lot of fun with these donut bets going into it. And then, other than that, we have a few more Do you want to run people through where we're at with donut bets?
Yeah.
The first donut bet that we ever made was next Halo day and date on PlayStation. I say no. Connor says yes. Obsidian releases another game on the Series X. I say yes. Connor says no. Mario Paint shows up at April Direct. I said yes. Connor said no. That one is in the books. Connor said if GTA does not come out, this was the whole purpose of the bet. Judas will win Game of the Year this year, and I said 3D Mario. None of those titles are coming out this year. Maybe GTA. Mini Molecules, next game's LBP. Connor says yes. I say no. Night Rain is over or under a Metacritic of 90. I say over. Connor says under. Fair Games is free to play. I say that it costs money. Connor says it's not. Summer Showcase for Sony this summer. I definitely said yes on that. Connor said no. Death Stranding is a 91 plus. I said yes. Connor said no. Mario launch title. We already just went through that. Metro Prime Day. We already just went through that. And now Kirby Air Riders is an 80. Connor,
is $80.
$80, yeah. Connor says yes, and I say no.
I hope I am wrong.
Yeah, you'd love to. This is one of those you're betting against your favorite team. Like no matter what, you either win or you get some money.
Just gotta follow the trends here, dude.
You either get money or you get a donut.
It's got Sakurai behind it, dude. Like this game could be bigger and more robust than we think.
Yeah, shout out to our Patreon dearly beloved members. Thank you so much for supporting this show in a major way. It really, really does mean the world to us. On a day, especially, like, I mean, this is the first podcast we shot with me being full-time. Like, this really means the world. So thank you so much.
Only possible because of the support on Patreon. So
yes.
Thank you.
Shout out to Apathetic Titan.
JC Falcon.
Frozen Crushes.
Jack CT.
Sconzi.
Cherry Sentry.
DQ Lonzer.
Gamers Glade.
Tyler D.
Scooterman.
Dinkelberg Rules.
Cinchuru.
Hook'em Horns.
Go Nash.
Neutral Sphere.
Charlie W.
Easton C.
Stooby Dooby.
Nuke This Kingdom.
Crispy.
DJ Zach B.
JC.
Uli.
Jacob D.
Big Mac.
Middle Nate.
The Patty Cake.
Bear Pog.
Yogi.
Dom.
Holden M.
Colin C.
Brock.
Voodoo.
Dr. Pookie Bear.
Alex W.
Andrew H.
Master Diz.
Jesse F.
Drifter X1.
Presto.
Oh, I forgot the skirt.
Oh my gosh, you forgot the skirt.
Drifter X1 skirt. And then Maverick.
Goops.
JMatt B3.
Ali Benali.
Michael.
And Purple Matt. Thank you so much for enjoying this episode of the Casual Gaming News Conversation. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.